In this tutorial, we will learn about the different types of operators in C++ with the help of examples. In programming, an operator is a symbol that operates on a value or a variable. For example, plus is an operator that used for an addition, while minus is an operator that used for an subtraction. In C++, basically we have 6 types of operators that are found. The first one is an arithmetic operator, second one is an assignment operator, third one is an relational operators, logical operators, bitwise operators, and other operators. We call them as a miscellaneous operators. We will see them one by one with an example program for the better understanding. The first one is an arithmetic operator. Basically, I hope you know what is arithmetic operator, because arithmetic operators are used to perform arithmetic operations on a variable and data. Arithmetic operators are addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, and modulo operation. So let me give you this quick example program so that I can demonstrate you all the arithmetic operations in one example. So here let me declare a variable. Let me say we are going to perform an arithmetic operation on an integer number. So the data type would be integer. I'm going to have two variables. The one is num1. I'm going to give the value as 10. Comma, I'm going to create another variable. I'm going to call this one as a num2. I'm going to give the value as 5. Right, now what we are going to do, we are going to perform all the arithmetic operations such as addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, and the modulo operation. So this one is for the addition. Right, if you want to add two numbers, I hope you know we are going to use the operator as a plus. Then we have two operands such as num1 and num2. So I'm going to just print the value C out. Here I'm just going to pass the message addition, and then what you want to add, you want to add this num1 and num2. Num1 and num2 are the variable. Just put num1 plus num2. Now the next statement, I want to print them in the next line, so I'm going to just say enddev. Same applies to other operation. So for the interest of time, let me just copy and paste. So this one is going to be subtraction. So here I need to change the operator. Subtraction, I'm going to put a minus. This one I can call them as a multiplication. So here I'm going to put the multiplication symbol. This one is going to be division. So here I'm going to use the divide symbol. Then the final one is a modulo operation. So I'm going to call this one as a modulus. So here I'm going to use the modulo operator. The modulo operator is this. So let me save and run so that you will see the result. So the addition is 15, subtraction is 5, because when you subtract 10 from 5 is going to be 5. Multiplication, 10 times 5 is 50. Division, when you divide 10 with 5, the division is 2. Modulus is 0. I hope you know about the modulo operator, because modulo operator computes the remainder. So when the num1 value is 10 and the num2 value is 5, when you divide 10 with 5, the remainder is 0. That is the reason why we are getting 0. In case if the num1 is 9, let's say I'm going to change the value to 9. Then num2 I'm going to say, let's say we can have something that can give us the remainder. When I put 4, here we are going to get the remainder. When you divide 9 with 4, the remainder will be 1. So the modulus operator value will be 1. So when I run this one, it's no longer going to be 0, it's going to be 1. So basically the modulo operator computes the remainder. That's the reason why we are getting 1 or 0. So basically the modulo operator will give you the result as either 0 or 1, because it's going to just get the remainder, not the quotient, right? So basically this is how arithmetic operations can be done in C++. Now we are going to learn about increment and decrement operators in C++. These are different from the arithmetic operators. Increment and decrement operators would look like this, where we are going to have 2 plus and 2 minuses. So increment operator has got two types. One is called post increment, another one is called pre-increment. So for example, for the pre-increment, we will put increment operator, then we will assign the value to this particular variable. Then we will have the variable. So what will happen in this case? First we will increment the value, then we will assign the value to the variable. Right? This is called pre-increment. Post-increment is just opposite to this one. First we are going to have the actual variable, then we are going to increment the value. Pre-increment, first we will increment the value, then we will assign the value to the variable. Post-increment, first we will have the variable, then we will increment it later. Same applies to the decrement. First we will decrement the value, then we will assign the value to the variable, that is pre-decrement. Then the post decrement, first we will assign the value, then we will decrement it later. Let us see this example for the better understanding. Now what I have done, here I have a variable name as n1. Now I have assigned the value to that variable as 1. In the second step, if you pay close attention, I am trying to increment the n value, n1 value in this case. So this one will be incremented first, then that one will be assigned to this particular variable. So what will be the n1 value now? The n1 will become 2 because first I have incremented, then that value will be assigned to n1. So at the moment, what is the n1 value? Is 2. Then here in the next step, I'm sure that it is something weird to look. There is 2 plus here and then there is 2 plus here. So what does that mean? Again is a pre-increment. So first we are going to increment the value. From this step, what is the n1 value? At this point n1 value was 2, right? Now I am going to increment it. So what is the n1 value now? N1 value is now 3. Again there is another pre-increment. I am going to increment it again. So here it was 1, here it was 2, here it was 3, here it was now, what is the value now? 4. Now again there is a n1. So what is the n1 value now? 4. What is the n1 value now? 4, right? Because this is 1, it will increment here to 2, it will increment here is 3, it will increment here is 4. So what is the n1 value at the moment? Is 4. Now I am going to increment this. So what will be the n1 value? Plus plus, I am going to increment by 1. When you put plus plus, you are going to increment by 1. When you put minus minus, you are going to decrement the value by 1. So at the end of this step, what is the n1 value? 1, here 2, 3, 4. The n1 value will become 5. So when you print the n1 value, it should return as 5. What is the n2 value? So this is a n2, right? What is the n2 value here? First we are incrementing the value for the n1, then we are assigning the value to the n1. So when you increment the 1, what will be the value? 2. So the n1 value will become 2, then we are assigning that one to a n2. So the n1 value at the moment is 5, n2 is 2. So when you want to print the n3 value, I hope you have guessed. So here n1 is 2. So when you increment this one, n1 will become 3. When you increment here, n1 will become 4. So at the moment n1 is 4. So when you assign the n1 to n3, n3 will become 4. The first one is 5, second one is 2, n3 is 4. Then what will be the n4 value? Here we are just going to get the n1 value. What is this one? This is post increment. First we will get the value of that variable, then we will increment it later. So in this case, this n4 is equivalent to n1. So we are not going to increment it because this is a post increment. First we will get the value. So whatever the value that was stored into this n1 variable at the moment will be assigned to n4. So in that case, what is the n1 value at this point before we incrementing? 4. So n4 will be 4. So when I run this one, sorry, there is some error here. Let me save and run. As expected, you see n1 is a 5 because when we reach this point, n1 will be 5, n2 is 2, n3 is 4, and then n4 is 4. Don't think n4 will be 5 because this is post increment. In post increment, first we will get the value, then we will increment it later. That is the reason why we are getting the value of n1 at the moment is 4. That is the reason why n4 we are displaying as 4. So this is about pre-increment and post-increment. Now we are going to learn about pre-decrement and post-decrement. So instead of plus plus, we are going to use minus minus. Right? So increment means we will increment the value by 1. Decrement means we will decrement the value by 1. Here we are decreasing, there we are increasing. Now I am giving you 2 seconds time to think about the result. What would be the result? I hope you have already guessed the result, right? So here n1 value is 1. When we come here, we are decrementing, right? So when you subtract 1 from 1, what will be the value? Here the n1 value will be 0. That value will be assigned to n1. At the moment n1 is 0. When you come here, again we are decrementing. When you decrement 1 from 0, what is the value? Negative 1. So that negative 1 will be assigned to n1. At the moment n1 value is negative 1. Again there is a pre-decrement. Again we are going to subtract by 1. When you subtract negative 1 from negative 1, what is the n1 value? Is negative 2. Right? At the moment n1 value is negative 2. Now we are coming here, n1 value is negative 2. Again we are decrementing. First we are assigning the negative 2 to n1, then after we are going to decrement. So when you decrement by 1, what will be the n1 value? N1 value will be negative 3. Right? I hope it's clear. Now what is the n2 value? N2 value is, first n1 is 0, first n1 is 1. Now we are decrementing, so n2 value will be 0. Now n3, what is the n3 value? I hope you have guessed. Here is 0, here is 0, then here negative 1, here negative 2. So n3 will be negative 2. And what about this n4? Here I hope you have already guessed. That negative 2 will be assigned to n1, so that value will be assigned to n4. So even n4 will be negative 2. So when I run this one, as expected, n1 is negative 3, n2 is 0 because we are decrementing, n3 is negative 2 according to this step. So this negative 2 we are applying to this n1, so n4 will be negative 2. We are just going to apply because this is post decrement. First we will get the value, then we will decrement later. No wonder that here we are not getting negative 3, we are just getting negative 2 because we have assigned this value to this variable before we decrement. So this value will be assigned to this variable before you decrement the value for n1. So after assigning this n1 value to this n4, n1 value is 2. Then now we are going to decrement by 1 again this n1 value. No wonder n1 value has become 3 after doing the decrement operation here. So n1 is, this is the previous output, so n1 is negative 3, n2 is 0, n3 is negative 2, n4 is also negative 2. Now I hope it's making sense of how to work with increment and decrement operator, especially with a pre-increment, pre-decrement, post-increment, post-decrement, right? But in case if you have any questions, you are free to ask me through comment section. Now let us learn about the assignment operator in C++. So this is how the operator would look like. First one is an assignment operator where we can assign the values to the variable. Second one is an increment operator. If you want to add, this is a next operator. If you want to subtract a value from one variable to another variable, if you want to multiply, this is an operator, and this one comes under the assignment operator. If you want to divide, this is how the assignment operator would look like. This is for the modulo operation. In case if you don't know how to use them, this is an example. You can assign the value from one variable to another variable, or you can just assign the value to the variable. So in case if you want to add using an assignment operator, this is a way. So what does this means? It simply means A is equal to A plus B. Same applies here. A minus is equals to B simply means A is equal to A minus B. So this is how the rest of the operators would look like. Let me show you a quick example for the better understanding. So here I'm going to create integer. Let's say n1. This is for the number 1. Now I'm going to assign the value as 4. Okay. So this is an assignment because I'm assigning the value to the variable. Or maybe if you want to take a look at this example, maybe I'm going to create another variable. Let me call this variable as n2. I need to specify the data type integer. Now I'm going to assign the value for this variable from the variable n1. We have seen quite a number of examples using the same. So what does that mean? I'm assigning the value of the variable n1 to the n2. So what is the value of n2 now? If you want to find out, you can just say cout. Then if you want to find out the value of n2, just say n2 semicolon, save, go and run. So the n2 value will be equivalent to the n1. As you can see them here, n2 value is also 4. What we have done exactly is an assigning the value of one variable into another variable. The next one, what if I want to perform the addition operation? Same. So we are going to say n1, I'm going to say plus, and then I'm going to use the equal symbol. I'm going to say n2. So what does this means? It exactly n1 is equals to n1 plus n2. That is what it means according to this statement, right? So if you want to print this result, maybe just you can do the same cout So it's here is better for me to use the NDEV so that I can see the result in the next line, right? So see what you want to print now. Now I want to print the N1 because this is equivalent to N1 is equals to N1 plus N2. Now the N1 should be the addition of N1 and N2. In this case 4 plus 4, I am expecting the result as 8. So when I run this one, let's see how does this one would look like. See out, where did I miss the semicolon? Here I missed the semicolon. So save, then run. 4, this is a value that we have assigned to the variable, so maybe I would just simply say just for the N2 value so that we will see the difference. Maybe here I would say N1 plus equals N2 is this one. When I run this one, I hope you will see the clear output. So basically I have assigned the N1 variable value to the N2, so the result is this one. Now I am trying to perform this operation N1 plus equals N2. So we are trying to add, it simply means N1 is equal to N1 plus N2. The result is 8, as you can see them here. So this one simply means N1 is equals to N1 plus N2. So if you want to get the result, make sure that you have to put N1 here. If you put N2, it is again going to give you the result as 4, right? So you can just change around the operators. Instead of plus, you can put minus. So when you put minus, the result will be 0, right, for the other one. As you can see them here, the result would be 0. Same, you can play around with the different operators so that you can able to see the result. I hope now you have an idea about how to work with an assignment operator in C++. In this tutorial, we are going to learn about relational operators in C++. A relational operator is used to check the relationship between two operands. For example, let's say we have two variables and then two variables has got the values. Here I'm going to declare two variables, integer N1, I'm going to say this one as 10, and then I'm going to have another variable name called N2. Let's say I'm going to give the value as 15. Okay, so now I have two variables. Now I'm going to check the relationship between these two variables. First I'm going to check whether these two are equal. That is what it means. So here there is a difference. In the assignment operator we have seen only one equal. When you see one equal means that's an assignment operator where we are going to assign the value to the variable. When you have two equals, is not necessarily we are going to assign the value. Here we are going to check whether the value that we have assigned to this variable is equal to the value that we have assigned to this variable. Because basically this is a condition we are going to check that side, but in the assignment operator we are assigning the value. Here we are checking whether they are equal or not. Then the second operator is not equal, so we are going to check whether if it is not equal, because let's say in this example the first value is 4 and then the second value is 5. 4 is not equals to 5, right? They are two different number. In that case this one is going to give us true just because 4 is not equals to 5, right? Then the next one is a greater than. We are going to check whether this N1 is greater than N2. The next condition is less than. We are going to check whether this N1 value is less than N2 or not. Then here greater than or equals. So let's say this one is let's say 13, then this one is 15. In this case is going to give us false because 13 is not greater than 15. It's not even greater than or equals. So when I say it greater than or equals, so this when I say when this one is also 15, yes, this one is greater than 15 is not greater than, but because of this equals, this one would give us true because this one is not greater but equals. So in that case is going to be a true. Less than or equal, so it's going to check whether this value is less than this value. If it is a case, it's going to give us true. So basically, as I said, relational operator who check the relationship between two values. Now let me give you this simple quick example. Now for the sake of time I have already typed the simple program. Actually this is very simple for you to understand. So I have declared two variables, namely A and B. I have assigned the value for the A variable as well as for the B variable. I'm sure that this one is quite surprising. Bool. Bool is nothing but Boolean data type. We use Boolean data type to check whether the condition is true or false. If the condition is true, it's going to return 1. If the condition is false, it's going to return 0. Now the first one is I have created a variable name called result under the Boolean data type. So the result, I'm going to check whether the A is equals to B or not. In this case 3 is not equals to 5, right? then it should return false. That's what it says. So if you want to print the result, so 3 equals 5 is the result, it will return false, then that one will be stored, right? The second one is a not equals to b. In this case, yes, 3 is not equals to 5. In that case, is true, is going to return 1. True means 1, false means 0. Then the a is greater than b. A is 3 is not greater than 5, so it has to return false. Then the next one is a less than b. Yes, b is greater than a, so in this case is going to return true. The next one is a greater than or equals to. In this case this is false because 3 is not greater than 5, or not even equivalent to b, right? In this case the next one is a less than or equals to b. In this case the condition is true because yes, b is greater than a. So when I run this one, it will return 0 and 1 based on the condition. So when you see 0, 3 is not equals to 5, that is the reason why there is 0. 0 means false. 3 not equals to 5, the condition is true because 3 and 5 they are two different numbers. The condition is true, that is the reason why it's returning 1. 3 is greater than 5, 3 is not at all greater than 5, that's the reason why the result is 0. 3 less than 5, the condition is true, 1. 3 greater than or equal to 5, the condition is false, there is 0. 3 less than or equal to 5, the condition is true, there is 1. So as I said, basically relational operator is used to check the relationship between operands. So when I say operands, a and b are the operands, this is an operator. So a and b are the operands and this is an operator. Basically relational operator used to check the relationship between two different operands. Let us learn about the logical operators in C++. Logical operators are used to check whether an expression is true or false. If the expression is true, it returns 1. Whereas if the expression is false, it returns 0. So these are all the operators that can be used in a logical operator. There is an AND symbol here, we call them as a logical AND. This one we call them as a logical OR. This one is a logical NOT. I hope if you have done the truth table for the logical AND or NOT, is going to be easy for you, because I hope you know the truth table for the logical AND. For the logical AND, the condition will be true if only all the operands are true, right? That is how the logical AND works. And logical OR, it will return true if at least one of the operand is true, right? Then logical NOT is opposite. If it is true, it will return false. If it is false, it will return true. So these three are the logical operator: logical AND, OR and NOT. Let me show you a simple example to understand how they work. So as I said in the previous example, I am going to use the data type as a boolean, because boolean will check whether the condition is true or false. If it is true, it will return 1. If it is false, it will return 0. Now I have the variable name as result. Now I am going to check whether 3 is not equals to 5. Here is a logical operator. This is a logical AND. And then the next condition is 3 less than 5. So what this logical AND operator does, it will check both conditions. This is one condition, this is another condition. If both of them are true, then it is going to return true. If one of these conditions fail, then in that case is going to return false when you use the logical AND. So this condition is true, isn't it? So 3 is not equals to 5. They are two different numbers, they're not equal. In this case, we can consider this condition as true. Then 3 less than 5. Yes, 5 is greater than 3, even this condition is true. So both conditions are true. So when both conditions are true, when you use the logical AND, is going to return the condition as true. So here the result will be 1, because when it comes to true, it is going to display 1. If it is false, it's going to display 0. In the second example, let's see 3 equals 5. We are trying to check whether the 3 is equals to 5 or not. This is not an assignment operator. Remember, this is a relational operator where we are going to check the relationship between two operands. So this condition is false, isn't it so? But this condition is true. One condition is false, another condition is true. In that case, when you use the logical AND, is going to return false. So when you print the statement, is going to give us 0. Same applies here, but for the logical OR, it's okay that we can have either one of the condition is true. So in this case, this is false, this is true, but this one will return true, because for the logical OR, the truth table is if either one of the condition is true, it's going to return true. So this is how the logical OR works. There is a different example. I'm sure that you can able to check. The logical AND is an opposite. If the condition is true, is going to return false. If the condition is false, is going to return true. So in this case, the condition is this: 5 equals 2. Is it true or false? Is false, right? So but when you use the logical NOT in front of this condition is false but is going to return true. In this case, this condition is true, but when you put the logical NOT, is going to return false. So when the condition is true, is going to return false. When the condition is false, is going to return true, in the opposite. So this is how logical AND or NOT work in C++. Basically, you just have to know the truth table for each of these logic gates. This marks the end of operators in C++. If you need any help or if you have any questions, kindly ask me through the comment section.